Where is everybody calling into from today?
Hampshire.
Hampshire, very nice.
I'm in London.
And sunny Surrey.
Sunny Surrey.
Nice.
Warwickshire.
Right, yeah. Tom went to university in Warwick.
Oh right. We're just up the road from Warwick, actually.
Wonderful place.
Cool.
Very lovely.
They've got a good castle, haven't they, in Warwick?
Yeah, no, it's a really lovely county. It's kind of sort of tucked away. Not many people know about it, but it's gorgeous.
I'm up in Scotland.
Okay.
Is there anybody in London then?
Yes, I'm in London. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So we've got London, Slovenia, Scotland, Warwick, Hampshire, Surrey.
I can't see anything.
Okay.
I supposed to be able to see something.
If you can't see anything, please can you write it in chat?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start in. Alex can't see anything. Do you want to try and? Can everybody else see? Is it just Alex that can't see?
Yes, fine here.
I might start my video and then
Yeah, please could you restart it?
I'm on the balcony with my sunglasses on. Apologies. Stop. Still can't. Shall I leave and will you be able to let me back in?
Yeah, leave and get back in. So I'll type it.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Sure.
Okay. So does everybody have Friday off?
I wish.
Freelancer. No days off.
And I think you had bank holiday. You had holiday last weekend in Slovenia.
In Slovenia, we just finished the holidays, 3-4 days ago. So we are back to work. And children are back to school. So schooling from home and work, a lot of office work, working with request reservations, but not real cooking yet, but soon.
The unique experiences of the world today. Okay, so Alex from Olive Magazine is back. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, so are we all ready? Are we good to start? Is everybody happy to start?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thomas, can you confirm we're good to go?
Yep, we're all good. All good, Frank. You go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Right, so firstly, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining this unique webinar where we're able to do it from Slovenia and take it to your homes in the UK. This is a webinar on behalf of the Slovenian Tourism Board with Ana Ros and her wonderful Hiša Franko team. While we're doing this, for the first 30 minutes, please can you keep your microphones off? If you have any questions, please write it in the bottom in the chat box, and then we're going to do a question and answers session at the end. So there will be a 30-minute talk by the Hiša Franko team, and then afterwards we're going to do a journalist Q&A. This is also going to be streamed for 30 minutes at the start on Facebook Live. The Hiša Franko team will be recorded, so you will not be on Facebook Live. We're also recording this as a video. If you do not want to be in the video, please let us know, and we'll make sure that you're excluded from any kind of video as well. So with that, we're going to start the Facebook page, and then I'm going to introduce everybody again in the Facebook page, and then Nataša will give us a quick talk about bread, and so on. Okay. So welcome to our Facebook viewers. Slovenia is widely regarded as one of the rising stars of the global gastronomic scene. It has been named the European Region of Gastronomy for 2021, and will be unveiling the first ever Michelin guide to Slovenia very soon. Slovenia food is influenced by the diversity of its landscape, climate, history, and surrounding cultures. It has 24 gastronomic regions, one of which where the Hiša Franko team are now, and has 3 wine growing areas, which you'll hear more about shortly. A huge variety of dishes originate from Slovenia's 4 corners, from the Alps to the Adriatic coast, and from the Karst to the Pannonian Plain. Of its many excellent restaurants, Ana Ros and Hiša Franko are perhaps Slovenia's most famous. Ana has been named the best female chef in the world in 2017, and Hiša Franko was listed as one of the 40 best restaurants in the world last year. So with that in mind, I'll pass you over to Ana, who will tell you a little bit more about Hiša Franko and how they're helping the community during these unique times. So we have Nataša, Valter, and Ana. So Nataša, if you'd like to talk a little bit about what you do at Hiša Franko and the breads and grains from Slovenia, and where you see the Slovenian direction of food going, and baking in particular.
Hello to everyone.
Hi.
I'm Nataša Đurić. I'm the head baker of Hiša Franko, and I've been working here for almost 2 years now. And Chef Ana and Valter gave me this very responsible job to make the best bread possible for the menu, and I took this task as a challenge, and because I know what Ana and Valter philosophy is, it's mostly how to get the best flavor possible with ingredients that surround us and that we can work with. And of course, like, the bread is a super important part of Slovenian gastronomy. It's always a centerpiece of the table. It's always something that welcomes people to our homes. And so in my work, I also try to follow Ana's philosophy, which is, as I mentioned, to bring flavors to the table. And for me as a baker, I think about a lot how to do that. And we know that lately worldwide, not only in Slovenia, but everywhere else, like, sourdough has been given an important notice, like about nutrition value, and most importantly about the dimension of the flavor. And it's sourdough is something, it's my big inspiration, because it's in one way is technically challenging how to make the best sourdough bread, and on the other hand, how to work with different flavors. So yeah, so mostly, like, what I focus in my work is like, also what I keep in mind is people visit Hiša Franko from all over the world, and my job as a baker is to offer the bread that, of course, is technically correct, and on the other hand is flavor bomb. And it's something, when I hear words from people saying, oh, this is the best bread, one of the best breads that I had in I don't know, in 30 years. And it's something that tells me that I'm, as a baker, I'm doing a good job. And also, at the end of the day, it's it's not myself who I'm representing, but it's Chef's Anna work, her story, the way, like her message, what's her message that she wants to give to people that come from far, and having people around the world coming to this valley, in the Alpine Valley in the middle of nowhere, is therefore like big responsibility, because people, when they come here, they of course expect the best. So like all us, like the entire team, we're doing the best to represent this environment, and chef's philosophy. And
what is that? What is that philosophy? We've 5 minutes, so could you the technical aspects of the baking and the philosophy of baking as well?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, chef's philosophy is, of course, how to maximize the flavor from the simple ingredients, and it's not always an easy task. So it requires a lot of research, a lot of brainstorming that we do often here in Hiša Franko. And of course, like here in Slovenia, we're lucky to be able to have amazing food resources, fresh produce, and also amazing grains. And maybe this particular valley, Soča Valley, is not really grain growing region, although we have one farmer that grows einkorn. So einkorn is an old variety of wheat, Triticum monococcum, which has an amazing flavor, and we also use it in this year's menu for the bread. But other regions in Slovenia, like we can find spelt, which has an amazing nutty flavor, amazing nutrition, and also other not really grains, like for example buckwheat. Buckwheat is botanically not grain, it's more related, it's related to sorrel, for example, or to rhubarb, but it's something that is deeply rooted in Slovenian culinary tradition. And also rye, which is of course more known in Scandinavian countries, but it's also an important part of Slovenian food, Slovenian bread. So yeah, I would say like the world of grains and pseudo grains is big, and it's always like opportunity to explore how this how their flavor can like enrich our daily our daily eating, and of course how to enrich the menu, like our work.
And is there, would you say there's an iconic Slovenian bread or a iconic Hiša Franko bread at all that is very popular, that is
iconic Slovenian? I would say for sure it's rye bread. It's very sour bread, also with caraway seeds, and it's more traditional for the northern part of Slovenia. But iconic for Hiša Franko, well, the breads of Hiša Franko, like when I think of it, it's of course because this is specific environment, and we have to keep in mind that of course it would be easy to make technically perfect brioche or something other from French baking tradition, but it's not something that would fit to the story of Hiša Franko, to the message that Hiša Franko wants to give to the world. So yeah, challenge is more in a way to incorporate Slovenian like grains that are more maybe local to here. Also, like corn is something maybe very specific for this valley. It's been known that people from this valley exchange meat and cheese that is here in abundance. They exchange it with people from Veneto or Friuli, which is across the border in Italy. So yes, we have lots of amazing ingredients to work with, and it's something that makes the work here very special.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Nataša. It's very interesting, and leading from breads and cheeses onto wine. Valter, would you like to talk a little bit about your philosophies of wines and the direction that wine is going at the moment, the futures, and what British people might have not heard of, in particular when it comes to natural wines and so on, and also Hiša Franko's philosophies towards this.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the question. And I want to explain in these 10 minutes mostly why the philosophy of the natural wine in Slovenia, and why the Slovenia is so important in this moment for that kind of philosophy. So my stories go like 32 years ago when I started to study the sommelier and wine tasting school. I did in Italy, and from that time every year I get more experience because we are very close to very important white wine region of the world. Is in Slovenian side is Goriška Brda, in Italian side is Collio. So that region I think is one of the best area in the world for making the white wines. We have not only that region, but also Podravje and Posavje, where mostly in the for orientation on the Austrian and Hungary border. Every region is different because of terroir, different land and different climate, the different kind of hills, and this make the wine difference from every small location. For me, Slovenia is much important, all Slovenia, to make the white wines, not the red one. Maybe we have not climbed and the right condition to make a really strong, important red wine of the world. But we have some terroir somewhere, and the different position. They are in Vipava Valley, they are in Goriška Brda, in Kras region, and also in Koper side for the red wines, but really particularly limestone and position where the vineyards turn to the sun area, and they get really, the grape get really mature to make the really powerful red wine, which can compare with the best wine of the world. The percentually of the white and red of the quality, I think, is 80-20 in Slovenia. We produce 100 million liters of wine in Slovenia, and the medium consume for the person in Slovenia, how we are 2 million, is 40 liters per person during the year. But you know, somebody drink 200, somebody drink only 10. No, but we are really wine drinker in Slovenia, also because the Slovenia is small, and mostly of the Slovenian families, they have in the wine region the friends or the parents, and they get directly wine from the producers. The story of the natural wines came because I meet very important people today, very important people in the philosophy of the natural wine of the world. These guys came from Slovenian and also from the very close to Italian border. The guys was Joško Grauner, Stanko Radikon, Valter Mlečnik, Batic. I have always repeat these names. but it was very important to produce the really original grape with not use chemical, poison chemical products. And they try to do from that grape the best possible wine with a spontaneous fermentation and no filter. For the white wines, in Slovenia is very important. Also, many producers, they use the 20 or maybe somebody also 100% of the production. They use for the white wine skin contact. This means the maceration. Skin contact is important to keep wine without too much sulfite. They keep them safe for a longer time, because in the skin the grape take a lot of tanninium, even if it's white wine. In the school, nobody will teach you that the white wine have tanninium, because normally they used to press them and to keep the juice outside from the grape very fast. And the wines then get with the control temperature, they use buying the yeast from the laboratory. This means selectional yeasts for fermentation, and this process is very long. But we talk normally about a natural way to produce the wine. This means then the wine starts to fermentate spontaneous. You have to create in your wine cellar enough the beautiful atmosphere of the yeasts already around, completely around all the cellar. And then the juice, when you bring the juice into the big open barrels, the juice start to fermentate because the yeasts are already everywhere. And this is the longer process, but the skin also stay together with the wine and take the aroma. So I can show you one of this kind of wine. This is a very classical Malvasia from Nova Gorica. Is a beautiful story of old vineyards that was abandoned, and a group of the people take care of these abandoned vineyards. Abandoned vineyards is mean that nobody take really a lot of to take care of the vineyards, and there was never used the poison. So never use the chemical products to produce the grape. This is the typical color of the white skin contact, no filtered wine. In Hiša Franko, this is from Podravje region. It's a Petnite. This is a white cuvée, and is a little is also skin contact, but it's sparkling wine. Not 100% sparkling, but really nice, beautiful, fresh, light white wine for the summertime, awesome aperitif. So I showed these bottles because I want to show you the color of this kind of wine. They looks like oxidated or very old, but they are not. This one is 2018, and the color is only because it's the very mature grapes stay together with the skin. The juice stay together with the skin and start to fermentate together and take out the color. So we talk about no sulfite use. The guys, they use really, you know, the classical using of sulfite is over the 150 milligrams per liter, but here we talk about 15 to 20 milligrams per liter. So really natural. And the natural philosophy to Hiša Franko came because these guys also came to eat here, and they bring me already 25 years ago many bottles to taste. And I was all the time I was visit them, and I try to understand this philosophy. Why? Because no sommelier school was teaching that time of the spontaneous fermentation and of the no filtered wine and biodynamic. That time was not really many biodynamic and organic vineyards. Then I start to buy many of this kind of wine, and I was in love to that story and to that philosophy. I said, okay, let's go every year to use more and more and more from all the Slovenian region, only to buy the natural wines. Also because the philosophy of the kitchen of Hiša Franko was always to use the local and natural and clean products with the original taste. So these wines, they have all of them, they have really original taste of the grape, of the landscape, and also of the terroir. So compare with the food and the wine, it was a beautiful balance. Also the Ana's kitchen with many flavors, many different herbs, and particularly small things put it in the food. It was very difficult to pair to make the wine pairing with just the normal and so light and so this kind of filtered wine. And I start to use mostly macerated and spontaneous fermentation, because I found the taste of food, Ana's food, and this kind of wine was a really beautiful balance, and the people like it. It was a big problem in the restaurant years ago to teach, because we have to teach every guest to drink that kind of wine, but we did. So today we have in the proposed, we need to have international, also the Slovenian conventional wines. They are very good, I can say, but is for us, because we used to drink them natural. Yeah, not the wine for every day. Every time we opened also very good conventional wine. And we also propose this conventional wine in the cellar, because we need to have the big spectrum of wine in the cellar. And we need to propose also the different wine which we use normally, because not everybody use.
We're going to run out of time. We have to move on because we have many questions afterwards as well.
Yeah.
The final question before the journalists: what wine will you be celebrating? Will you be drinking at the end of the lockdown, when the lockdown is over?
Which wine are you gonna celebrate with at the end of the lockdown?
Yeah. I like. I work with this guy from 35 years, maybe. Valter Mlečnik. This is classical Tokaj. That one is 2013, but I have also the 1990, so 1990, and maybe we will open that bottle for opening the restaurant again. I like. I know all the story of Valter Mlečnik. It's amazing. This you can find also in England, and
they will have to come and taste it at your restaurant, right?
This will be the best,
okay.
Because we have a lot of English guests, and they are really happy of proposed, and they're really happy and surprised of the quality of Slovenian wines.
Excellent.
Really.
Yep. So hopefully there will be more British guests very soon as well. Thank you very much, Valter. And finally, so if anybody has any questions, sorry, just quickly, what was the name of that wine again? Could you repeat the wine? The name of the last wine
is the new name for the Tokaj in Slovenia is Sauvignon, because Tokaj we cannot use. The grape is Furlanski Tokaj in original, but now we call them Sauvignon, and is Valter Mlečnik from Vipava Valley.
Okay. Perhaps if it's possible at some point you could type it into the chat at the end in the sidebar. There's been 2 questions, but for now, thank you very much, and Yeah, Anna, would you like to talk more about your philosophy on food and, of course, the importance of nature when it comes to food, and where you would like to see the direction of food in the future?
So hello everyone, my name is Ana. I'm a chef of Hiša Franko, one of the most beautiful places you can imagine to have a restaurant. Just look what you can see on the back, and we cannot turn the camera around, but there is just like people cutting grass on our left, and it smells of fresh herbs in the air. It's really amazing. So I don't know if I really have to introduce myself. How much do you know the story? I'm a 100% self-taught chef. I started cooking very late. I was 30 years old and had a degree, the diploma in international science and diplomacy. When I met Valter, fell in love, and then abandoned somehow my career for remaining with him, basically. And so there was this house, Valter's parents were running it. There were also a kind of bad times in that time, because you know, this part of Europe has not been yet a touristic destination, and there was no food chain built up, so no suppliers coming to the house. So I think the beginnings have been pretty tough, especially because, well, I never trained to be a chef, and later on I never stashed either. So it was a kind of a life experiment about everything. Well, I had in my somehow, I had it from Valter's parents, who were running the place before, the idea of how the place in a countryside, which is so far away, should look like. So being committed to seasonal, being committed to territorial. And I found it very, very difficult when later on, when we started like working on philosophy, you know, people were proposing me, I don't know, plenty of seafood, and why don't you use sea urchins and so on. And I was like, why? But look, if you look at the scenery, it's all green and it's all about the mountains and so on. So, well, I started like tabula rasa, no information. Like in my previous life, I was almost a professional athlete and a dancer as well. So I didn't even have a lot of time to cook with my my mom or my grandmom, where a lot of chefs are claiming that there is where the idea came out. But I'm a very creative person. It comes a little bit from dancing, but I have it in a family as well. So I had this beautiful scenery with practically no suppliers or producers coming to the house on one side. On the other, I had my crazy mind, which is very crazy, still is, which is very revolutionary as well. I don't like rules. I tend to break them all the time. And this is probably what got me where I am now, where the house is now. It's because by being self-taught, you can discover warm water or cold water every day without risking that someone says that maybe you did mayonnaise on a wrong way, because you don't need to, you know, answer to anyone about your technique or anything. So it has been very, very intense years. I started cooking late. I was 30, pregnant with my son. But as I took a challenge, I took it seriously. And first of all, what Valter and me, we did it very seriously. We started building up the chain of producers around us. That wasn't such an easy task, because you must know we live in a mountain area where people are a little bit under ambitious regarding A, money, B, the self-confidence about, you know, the quality of their products. And especially nobody had really papers, you know, for to work with a restaurant, vet controls and so on. So we started like knocking on the doors of locals, asking them to share the products with us. And slowly, in all those years, I think it's 15 plus now, we actually built up a food chain of more than 100 producers in it. I'm not talking without wine producers, it's really a lot. Today I can claim that Hiša Franko is one of the places on the planet, one of the few, that is really regional and seasonal. And, you know, the best chefs of the world. I'm very connected to them. A lot of them are my personal friends, but I know how extreme we are in that choice, which is not easy because it requires a lot of creativity, it requires a lot of elasticity. So I would say that if you are on the top of a mountain and you look around you, you can actually spot most of the places where we source from. So there is incredible rivers where we source the fresh river fish. There is the sea that we can see from our mountains. We are bare 50 kilometers air distance from the Gulf of Trieste, from the Mediterranean. And we have a very small community of fishermen over there where we work, with whom we work with. We are having, of course, the meadows, the forest. We are having the dairy production. We are having a lot of game. We are having amazing cattle, which is mostly for milking. But of course, we are used to eat a kind of an old cow. So meaning that the meat is local, but the cattle was first for milking and then for the meat only. What happened in all these years? It's very, it's very difficult to say why the success came pretty quickly. I think I started cooking in 2002, 2007. I was a part of the first big food conference in Toulouse in southern France, which was funny enough a gathering like future stars of the world gastronomy, and like the biggest names were there, like Mauro Colagreco and Alex Atala and so on. And if you ask me why I was different, maybe because I was coming from a place that nobody have heard about before, maybe because we don't have culinary tradition in the country. Because in the time of the communism, what happened was like a lot of creativity has been somehow killed, but especially we didn't have aristocracy anymore. That is the one who is going for the restaurants and of course loves dining or fine dining if you want. And then especially because I was a woman and I was probably one of the first who got a spot on a world scene. So in 2012, I was the first female chef to attend Cook It Raw, so international gathering of the best world chefs, which was focused on environment. And then a lot of other things started happening with, of course, escalation with 2016, and where Hiša Franko has been featured in the second season of the Chef's Table with Netflix. And that's like kind of brought, I would say, not only Hiša Franko, but the whole region, the whole Slovenia, to the world map of gastronomy. We had a collapse of reservation system, of internet, of everything. Finally, people understood where this beautiful green country is and how amazing, because we do a lot of attention to the nature over there and how beautiful food can be, the food that comes from that beautiful place. And then it's followed by 2017. I was named best female chef in the world by 50 Best. And then next year, Hiša Franko entered to top 50 restaurants, and it was crowned by last year's 38th place. If you ask me, I hear insinuations like, oh, it's all about marketing. No, it's not about marketing, guys. It's about hard work of a big team. It's not just Valter and me and Nataša. There is 40 people who work hard. 40 people who, it's not that easy, because we cannot bring a supplier today to have food for tomorrow. We need to observe the nation. We need to see what's going on out there. We follow the moon. We follow the temperatures. Can you imagine, moon goes up, mushrooms come out. We do 3 amazing courses on our almost 30 course menu. And then, the moon starts going down and the mushrooms just disappear. So what do? You have to have an amazing elasticity and amazing creativity to keep on adapting. And I'm not talking about just myself, because a lot of chefs who came and started working with me, they were surprised how actually active in a creative process we are. But this means also from the sommelier part, because it's very difficult to guess for sommelier, my God, never one dish is the same to the other, because the product that you get from the nature is not from the industry, but it comes from a place that is actually directed by Sun and Rain, which is the book that just came out with Fiden. It came out in United States and in England a month ago. It's by the Times Magazine, one of the most beautiful books in the last time. And as far as I know, the Wall Street Journal named it one of the 6 most beautifully designed objects in the first 6 months of 2020. So, but you know, and I'm gonna say again, Hiša Franko is not a manipulation of the media or in words. It's in hard work, in learning every day. We are using the Corona time to enlarge our knowledge. We do schooling with our team. We are trying to analyze what is too much in the nature, where the food chain collapsed now, what we can do with all of these things. We are learning about like so many things that I believe when all these times are over, we are gonna be probably even better, even more curious, and of course more creative, because more you know, more you can do. So if you ask me about the future of fine dining in general and about Hiša Franko, I would say, and I would say loud, I do not want Hiša Franko to change. I think we're just perfect for these times. First, because we are so nature-oriented, and because because this doesn't regard only Corona, because after Corona, we are gonna have a world hunger and so many things. We are gonna talk about these, in 10 years, we are gonna have similar call talking about how hungry we are. And I think our work is one of the examples, how to respect the nature and how to be able to work side by side with it, how to be ambassadors of your land when a person who sits at the table of Hiša Franko, through our food, through our wine pairing, understands precisely where he is, she is. And especially in these difficult times, I would say that people will be looking for the green destinations where they feel safe and secure. There is more cows than people here, so you can easily hide in the nature. But especially it's also a message for tomorrow that probably it's a kind of the end of a huge globalization, and probably we'll all have to start looking around us, not only tourist-wise, where of course, like, I really hope that is a chance for Slovenia, because you know how well we are handling the whole Corona story. Like being Italian neighbors, we have 1,000 and something cases in the whole period, just like not even 100 dead people. But especially, for instance, Kobarid area, where Hiša Franko is virus-free since the beginning. It means disciplined in respect.
I'm sorry. Yep. We have lots of questions flying in, and we're going to start running.
So from that, I would just say that because I'm asked this question so many times every day, I'm just saying, like, I do not think that gastronomy should change or need to change. I would really think that look at the good examples around in the world and try to understand why the gastronomy should not change. There is no funeral around. We are gonna survive.
Wonderful, a lovely, wonderful finish. So just quickly talking. Well, we're going to take some questions and answers from the journalists now. The first question is, what's coming into the season now? But just quickly, if you'd like to ask a question, just let me know in chat, and then I will call out your name. If not, if you don't wish to talk, then let me know and I will read out your question as well. So firstly, we have a question for Ana from Sudi, and what's coming in. Well, actually, I'll start before that with a quick question from Facebook, and then we'll go on to the journalist. Someone was asking about are you taking your projects elsewhere as well? Are you taking the Slovenian food brand and ethos around the world? And if so, what projects do you have lined up?
So in this moment, what we are trying to do is in the house, we are trying to understand what we can do with all the products that are remaining in the nature and to the farmers. And we are doing these small packages that we are selling all around Europe. We're very successfully, by the way. And we are, of course, analyzing a lot of new ones. And we are having open discussions in this moment with one of the Slovenian food chains that could help us reach every single house in Slovenia, and further on, maybe every single house in the world. And that's actually a goal and a challenge for me. But let's see, it's gonna happen, because I'm not really a businesswoman. I'm more a chef from that side.
And any projects in Europe? Someone mentioned you might be doing something in Spain or anything like that.
Well, they mentioned Spain because we just did a pop-up in Madrid in the month of November. We moved the whole Hiša Franko for 3 weeks in Madrid, where we lived and worked, but it was a pop-up restaurant. No, I believe Hiša Franko is gonna stay exactly where it is, in between these mountains, and gonna rock the world with this scenery.
Lovely. And supporting the local supply chains and the local farmers, which is a necessity. So this is for Anna and Nataša. What's coming up what's coming into the season now for you guys?
You go first.
Yeah, well, the season, I mean, the nature here now is really is perfect. I'm missing out the foraging today. Well, the rest of the team has gone to the mountains to pick up pine cones. But besides that, elderflower is blooming. We have acacia flowers, and everything smells so wonderful. And yes, we have lots of greens, like wild asparagus, and then
Ruscus, holly,
yeah.
and asparagus de bois, which is a very rare wild asparagus. We are having wild hops. We are having nettles, plenty of them. We are picking the buds and little leaves and make so many different things with them.
Yeah, ramson flowers.
Yeah.
So lots of foraging.
Yeah.
It's a good time for foraging.
And it's a good time for lambs and goat kids. They are now in somehow season. This is where the food chain actually collapsed, because well, Corona came in a wrong time, and yeah, Valter is just bringing something from the sun. Here we are fermenting the acacia flowers on the acacia flowers on the sun, and here, of course, the pine shoots. But today the team was picking the pine cones from the high mountain pine. That's a small pine, and we are probably gonna analyze it to make an amazing ice cream out of it.
Good timing. So for British audiences, this is also lots of people coming in from the globe and so on. But for the audiences, how can you explain your cuisine and Slovenian food?
Well, you know, in a few words only, Slovenia is one of the most diverse countries in the world, regionally, climatically, geographically looking, culturally looking. It's a kind of a melting pot. If you look at the history, how the borders have been moving, if you look which are the countries that are actually around us and they're identifying us as well. We have Italy, we have Austria, we have Hungary, we have Croatia. On the south, it's completely different. Even language groups are completely different. So imagine the kitchen. But what I would say that defines the whole Slovenia the most, it's being green. We are probably one of the few countries in the world, if not the one, who is the most into gardening and foraging. And I'm talking about tradition. I'm not talking about, wow, now it's a fashion of gardens. Everybody's gonna have gardens. Like Valter's mom have had a garden since ever. Even in Ljubljana, in the capital, there are green zones where everybody's having gardens and having its own vegetables and so on. And then foraging, oh my God, next week we are in a top season for elder blossoms, for instance. Everybody, you see on every tree, people climbing and then fermenting or putting into the vinegar or putting into the syrup to make a drink. Or then the line is our spring salad. So I think a Slovenian really knows how to eat from a nature to actually to the plate.
Lovely. So you recently you've launched your book Sun and Rain with different recipes and so on. What inspired the recipes, and for people at home and chefs, how could a home cook make something that tastes like Hiša Franko?
I'm really sorry, you can't.
No, I want to know how we can do the essence of Hisa Franko. I know you couldn't make the dishes because they're so complex, but if we wanted to get a sense of it before we can travel to Slovenia.
Well, get a book, buy a book. It's amazing, it's beautiful.
I have it here.
I'm already going through, well, the book has been released by Phaidon, so it's English American. It's written directly in English without ghostwriters, without translators. Half of the book is autobiographical, so it's written directly by me. The other part is by Kaja Sajević, a Slovenian journalist who was supposedly writing facts, but at the end she fell in love with Hiša Franko so much, so she became personal too. And then you're having the photography of Susan Gabrian, one pretty amazing Slovenian photographer. So it's 100% Slovenian product, the book. There is stories inside that make you understand why our food is different, why our wines are different, why our ingredients are different, why we are different, why we cook. There is some also very, very personal ones that Phaidon was like, oh my God, chef, are you sure you would like to say that to the readers? And I was like, yeah, because it's a part of me, and the book is exactly as I am. It is very honest, very direct. But do not try to cook the recipes. I tell you why. Read them, be amazed by them, look at the photos. But because you don't have our ingredients, so you can adapt, go out, try to see what you have and then adapt. But truly, this is such a unique book about the local environment, or about like where we source from, that I do not think that anywhere around the world you can find a flavor of fermented cottage cheese that is spicy and sour and so rich in flavor. Well, I mean, good luck in looking for, but I really do not think it's possible. The uniqueness of this environment, and especially of the book, and then of course of the book, is because we are so far away from everything that globalization didn't really touch us. It means our ingredients and our philosophy, even us, we became pretty unique. So it's a kind of like a zoo of very unique animals, having on disposition products that are just ours. And that is what makes, I think, my kitchen really unique and different. And then of course the wines, what Valter was saying before, or the Natasha's bread. I mean, it comes from like something that hasn't touched us and that is remaining local from beginning to the end.
Okay, so we have a wine question now from Alex Crossley, who was in Slovenia last year, and Alex's question says, has this they drank a lot of orange wine last year, which they thought was delicious. So that's positive. Has this trend continued to grow, or was it more of a marketing push at the time? Alex has always tried to find some in the UK market, but has struggled. Can you recommend any, particularly Slovenian orange wine?
That you can find in the UK. I don't know if they export it at all.
So somewhere making natural wine is tradition from ever. So, for example, Georgia, some farmer also in Slovenia, some very particular region where were not touched from the industrial side, they still make the wine which did them grandfather and old school. No, I say today maybe because is a trend. But not without sense. Is a trend with the sense to propose the natural wine, because many chefs, many owner of restaurants and the shops, wine shops and wine bars, they believe to that. So they proposed and they decide to take care only of that kind of wine. So they teach the people why this wine is so different, but is original. So this is the beautiful story. Maybe industry 30, 40 years ago, they put the people to drink much more commercial and the wine from the big production. So it's not only the trend. Some way is mostly is big love for all the lover of the natural wine and also the restaurant and the bars owner. So I think now in the world is close to 2 or 3% of the natural wine producers, but every year they are more because the people believe to that. And in England, in England, I think they in London maybe Clone Club, yeah, they are Clone Club. There are many restaurants where you can buy, and you have to check maybe in some website they propose the natural wine shop. So, and you will find for sure also the Slovenian one. Okay. So I'm sure then Marian Simčić, for example, is there. Mlečnik you can find, the Movia you can find. They are very good and quality Slovenian wine producers. They produce a little more, but even conventional wine from Slovenia who make the export, they are very high quality. Very quality.
Can people find your wine lists or recommendations anywhere on your websites or on social media or anything?
We did now the web store, so if you go to web wine HishaFranko.com, now is the in the menu you go down and you find all the proposed, I think, of our best selection of Slovenian natural wines, and you can order them also. Okay. And there you can find the names also the labels which we proposed.
Wonderful. So we have a question from Facebook. Well, we'll start with quickly from Claire. Actually, what are the most common misconceptions about Slovenian cuisine? Nataša, is there any breads or anything that people think Slovenian bread is like this, but really it's like that?
Well, I would say maybe not only Slovenia, but like lately concerning sourdough is that maybe sourdough tasted sour, like to that point that it's maybe not edible. So I would say this is still one of the stereotypes that sourdough bread baking is facing. So yeah, I believe this is not true. So also like my job as a baker is also to, also as Valter said, like to educate. We educate our guests with an amazing product. We try to explain them what is the philosophy, what is the knowledge behind, what is the purpose behind fermentation. So I would say yes, sourdough bread doesn't have to be sour. So yeah, I would say this is one of the misconceptions concerning sourdough breads, but in general, breads, no, I wouldn't think of
and so on, and it's quite very diverse depending on the regions as well, possibly.
Yes, it's very diverse, yeah.
And Anna, any other final points on misconceptions? What people think about Slovenian food, and then they go and try it and they see differently?
Well, I do not think there is any real definition of Slovenian food that people have in mind when they travel to Slovenia, because you don't really largely read a lot about it. I think what they usually think is mostly Austrian or German cuisine, which partly is right, because a part of Slovenia that is bordering to Austria is having like more sauerkraut, more sausages, a little bit heavier food. But the real thing is Slovenia has also an amazing Mediterranean diet, and we are having an Alpine diet that has nothing to do with the Austrian cuisine. So I think the misconception is actually coming from not knowing. And people don't know, there is not even a lot to read about it. So usually the surprise of people who come and visit Slovenia in general is very, very positive.
Okay, wonderful. How large is your team? How large is the team at the restaurant at the moment?
Oh my God, Corona time or before or after Corona time? I'm joking.
On a whole throughout.
So usually, I'll tell you like that. Usually we operate on a number something around 40. It's between, of course, the kitchen and the dining room and the office and reception, and then of course the cleaning. Around 40 to 45 or down to 38. It really depends on the period, but I would say those are the numbers.
Okay, and what is your flagship, the most popular wine and the most popular dish, or is it always different throughout the seasons? Is there one season where one dish is always the big hit? And
maybe we first say, let's say to Valter about the flagship for the Slovenia for the wine.
Is the last 20 years all producers they work much more with the grape local grapes. So the local grapes are maybe the most popular is Malvasia, and then is Rebula in the Steiermark region, Steierska region, Podravje. They are mostly a little more German style, but we have a Žametovka and also Rulandec. Very famous is Šipon. Šipon, we create, I think, the grape in Slovenia many years ago. Šipon can be Furmint, is also the part of Hungarian and also a little of Austrian side. I will say that maybe the most popular Slovenian wine can be Malvasia.
Okay.
Well, regarding the food and Hiša Franko, the Hiša Franko is ever changing and ever always in evolution. We do not have signature dishes at all. So there is no dish on this year's menu from the beginning that has been on the menu of the autumn or spring last year, because I don't like it. I just believe that you need to express yourself, and as we change in time, this is how the food changes. But maybe really the only red line is the bread, no?
Bread and cheese. Cheese, like the menu is always rich in dairy products, which are amazing here.
And what is the most unique bread you've discovered and the most unique wine you've ever discovered that is you won't find anywhere else?
Well, for me personally, I'm a huge fan of Spelt. Like Spelt has, because I would say it has like a different, similar character to mine. It has like this nutty flavor, and it's hard to work with, but it gives an amazing results, like flavor-wise and texture-wise. So I would say this one is by far my favorite.
And any unique wines that are different and you've never experienced before, Valter, from any local producers or anything?
I remember when I was the kid, the small boy, we used to go many times in the coast side, in Pirano, in Isola, and we stop always in Kras region. Kras is a very dry region with a lot of caves and vineyards. And we stop always there to drink, to eat the bread, the homemade bread, and to drinking teran. Teran maybe is one of the most particular Slovenian red wine. It came from the family of Refosco, but it was bringing to like 1,000 years ago in the Kras region, and is different of Refosco is because the skins are very strong, and the color is completely dark red, and you always very dirty around the mouth when you drink this wine. But I remember, so bread and wine, this teran, it was I will never forget this tradition.
Okay. And Slovenia has been, it's the European Region of Gastronomy for 2021. What are your thoughts on this? What do you hope can be achieved from putting Slovenia food on the map, and do you believe it deserves that award?
Is that a question for me?
For all of you, if you want. Yeah, it's an open question.
Well, for me, I think 2021 should be the year where the focus in Slovenian tourism is on gastronomy. Gastronomy is probably one of the most important tourist products, and we needed a long time to understand it. And it's like when you travel to Italy or to Spain and you say, why do you pick Italy for your destination? It's because you're gonna have amazing lunch and amazing dinner, and you're just gonna look after when to sit down to trattoria again. So I think it's a chance for Slovenia to show out that it's not only about the fine dining or the beautiful nature, but it's also the simple gastronomy is worth going for. Because that's all about it, because gastronomy starts in simple places. So I honestly think it's our chance to put Slovenia on a gastronomic map in general, and I honestly hope we are gonna work it in the right way.
I'm sure Slovenia will do it in the right way. And one final question, just quickly, what are each of your favorite cheeses?
Maybe you don't see our cheese cellar. We have more than 300 different pieces of cheese inside. The tradition here is to make the Tolminski syr, which is very traditional Switzerland, Swiss culture to making classical cheese. We do mostly in our region of Tolmin and Kobarid from the cow milk. Most of the people, they eat the cheese aged from 2 months to 6 months. But we did the step more, and we aged this cheese made only in the summer in the mountain. So is mountain milk and also the traditional mountain making, producing the cheese. And we aged this cheese close to 5 years. So we proposed never the young one, but from 1 year to 4 years. The oldest we have in the cellar is 5 years. And then, but we have around, like in Bovec area or Kras area, we do a lot of cheese also from the sheep milk, and is not rare from the goat.
Because what is that cheese name?
Here is our cheese here in our region from that mountain.
What is your favorite cheese? We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we have to come to.
Yeah, the favorite. Not because I'm in love to our cheeses here in the region, but Tolminski syr, full fat, aged 3.5, 4 years is something the best what you can find.
And Anna, what is your favorite cheese?
I'm a big cheese lover. I cannot eat, maybe you can take me meat away and a lot of chocolates away and desserts away, but I'll always have cheese. I think it depends on a part of a day. I like starting like a day biting some young cheese, but I honestly am addicted to raw milk cheeses. So Tolminci is one of them because there is all quality of the nature in them. But then to finish the evening with some super spicy aged cheese with maybe a glass of red wine is just an amazing end of the day. So give me cheeses the whole day. I just pick one for every moment.
So you don't have one. You don't have one cheese.
No, there are many. All cheeses welcome.
You have to go to a desert island. If you had to go to a desert island and take one.
And I'm a little bit. In French, you say gâté. I'm a little bit spoiled about that. So if you convince me something else, I take a challenge.
Okay, not cheddar, no.
Well, even cheddar can be good. Why not?
Yeah. It's very there's some good cheddar. But so your desert island cheese, you do not have an answer.
No, I don't have an answer.
Okay, and finally, Nataša, then.
Well, I'm a huge fan of sheep cheese. There's lots of them here in the area, in the Bovec area. But also, if I had to pick one dairy product, it would also be kajmak. Kajmak is more typical of Balkan region, Middle East region, but it's one of my favorites. It's like clotted cream, like also fermented. It's super nice.
So fermented.
Salted,
I'm
yes.
so hungry in the UK. It's our lunchtime here, so I think on that note, maybe.
You're already drinking wine, so we miss the cheese. I don't know.
Well, it's our weekend. Our weekend kicks off in the UK today, so yeah, we'll have some cheese and wine maybe at 5 o'clock to celebrate. Maybe a bit earlier. We'll see. It's easier working from home and being able to drink wine. Wonderful. So thank you so much. That was brilliant. Some very insightful things. If anybody has any further questions, please follow Hiša Franko on online on their social media handles, and please use the hashtags as well to follow Slovenia. Any questions? I feel Slovenia, and we'll do our best to answer any food and drink related questions. You can also visit the Hiša Franko website, which we will provide on the Facebook link, and so on. Anna has launched a book recently, so please have a look, and yeah, it's also available online. Is there anything else that people can get from your website at this point if they want a small taste of Hiša Franko?
Yeah, we opened the reservations. We start taking reservations from June 3rd. So we are hopeful and we are full of joy to say that we strongly believe that with June 3rd, when we release the reservations, we will reopen and make the world happy and start cooking and serving again. This is like a light at the end of the tunnel, and you wouldn't believe how people are happy about our decision to practically release the reservations and start believing that everything's gonna be all right.
And you'll have enough wine. You have enough wine stockpiled for.
For the moment, we have really a lot of wine. Really a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you and sharing your great insights. Yeah, thank you. And
all
the best.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye. From Slovenia.
People can contact you directly on the website as well.
Yeah. www.hisafranko.com, and you have our email there, and for all the questions, Manza or whoever else is gonna answer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Have an amazing weekend.
Thank you very much.